Today, Gayathri will present an introduction to our markdown. So she will highlight basic knowledge required to write manuscript in R or reports, and also some of the advantages of using it. So yes, thank you, Gayathri. You want to share your screen, please?
Yes, start sharing my screen. Yep. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about writing a manuscript in R Markdown. So I'm also consider myself as a beginner or intermediate user of R Markdown. So I saw the poll that many of you are using R Markdown already, and hope it's not too basic for you guys. But I try to make it as useful as possible. All right. So what is R Markdown? It is nothing but a text file, but it comes with an .rmd extension. And when it's open in RStudio, then you can export the files in HTML format or PDF format or a doc file. And it is very similar to LaTeX. I hope most of you would have used LaTeX already, and it is very similar to LaTeX. But the advantage of the R Markdown is it's much easier and user-friendly. And with the knowledge in R, it will definitely much easier to use. And the other thing is it's a plain text writing. So you won't be able to see the output as you are writing. So you have to complete the writing and then you produce the output to see how your output looks like. So these are the basic things about R Markdown. All right, so at the end of this presentation, you will be able to write a manuscript in R Markdown, including some analysis done in R and some references, and also some equations using LaTeX code. And I'll just touch a little bit about you can also do some version control using the R Markdown script. Okay, so I'm not expecting to be an expert in R Markdown at the end of this presentation, but still you'll be confident enough to write a manuscript. And I think sometimes a plain solution might be efficient than an expert solution. So let's just stick with that. Right. So this is the fresh new R Markdown script. So it has few multiple components there, but mainly it has two different sections. So one is an R code chunk and the other one is your text. So I'll go through each section one by one. So the top part of the script is called YAML header. I'm not too sure that's the right way to say, but I've started telling YAML header. So it's yet another markup language. So here you can specify the details about your document. So it's within the three hyphens, beginning and the end. So that's the header. And then the next section here is the global options. So it's the global options, and then it's a R code chunk. So whenever you want to include an R code chunk, you can put opposite inverted commas, and then you can give a name for that particular chunk, and then you can tell the program whether you want to display the result in your output document or not by specifying the include false or true. So here I didn't specify anything particular as a global option, but for example, if you want to keep your whole document in 12-point font, then you can say that here instead of doing that in each section. So that's the benefit of using the global option. So it's for the rest of your document, like whatever the setting you want to use, you can specify here. And then the next section is your text with some markdowns. I'll go through the markdowns later, but this section is just a normal text with some markdown, and again another R code chunk with name cars, and then that's the run button that you can use if you want to run that script and see what's the result you want to it's going to produce. Okay. And these are some basic markdowns. So so whenever you want to display something in italic, then you can put them inside two asterisks. So whatever is inside the two asterisks will be printed in italic, and then asterisk or underscores. And then if it doubles asterisk, then it will print it in bold. So, and then headers. So you can print the font in different sizes. So like in Word, you have headers in different sizes, and then you can print the different sections of your document in different sizes. So that's the headers. And then you can also print list, ordered and unordered list. And so and you can also define the font sizes you want. For example, how big you want header 1. So then you can write all those in a CSS file, and then you can call that in the header. And so that will be like a customized style file. So that will be applied to different aspects of the scripts, like the header, how big you want it, what color you want it. So all of them you can store in a style CSS file and then call that within the header. And then you can also print some hyperlink with this syntax, and also embed some images from your computer or from online. And another cool thing is you can also embed the results you got from the art chunk. So for example, here within the art chunk, code chunk, you are telling x is equal to 5, and then in the text space, you can always say, if you want to print the value of x, you can put another comma there and then call it there. So in that way, you don't, if you want to change the value of x, you don't need to go through the whole document changing, and you can always like change it here, and then that will be changed in the rest of your document. So, and you can also do some calculations there. Okay, so here in this talk, I thought I will do like two different types of documents. One is like a plain normal report, and the other one is an academic manuscript. So first I'll just go through the normal report, like how we prepare a normal report using our markdown. And this is simple example. So this is my header with the details about the document I want to produce. And then whenever, like once you have finished writing the your document, you press knit button to produce the output file. So for this particular header, the output looks like this. So the title is our markdown test. It's in a big font, and then author and the date. So I apologize for the poor quality of the image. I tried to got the screenshot from my laptop and zoomed out because it didn't want to put too many figures in one slide, but then I had to compromise the quality of the figure. Sorry about that. But hope it's still readable. So that's the output of the header I've created, and continue with the same script from line 11 to 13 is the global option. Like I mentioned before, it's a global option. So if you want to specify any settings for the whole document, then you can do there. We didn't do anything particularly here, so so it's just the default, just left the default R code chunk there. And then the text. So the next section is the text with some markdown. So let's compare that with the output. So the first Our Ladies Brisbane is with the header 1. So it's printed bigger. And then the next heading was our markdown. It's the header 2 font size. So it's printed a bit smaller. And then we included some italics here. So it's printed in italics. Okay, and then we printed the knit in bold, and then it's printed in bold in here in the output file, and a hyperlink also. So these are like a basic examples of how you use the markdowns in a markdown script to produce the output file. Okay, and then I'm continuing with the same script. So from 22 to 24, I'm using another R code chunk here to summarize the table from dataset cars. So the name of the chunk is called cars, and then I'm going to print the summary of this table. So that's the output of that particular section. So you see here, so it's summary cars, and then it has printed the summary of the table. And then the next part is I'm going to print a plot for that. So you can first tell what you're going to plot, and then again you introduce the R code chunk here to plot the pressure from the table. So here you see the difference in these two R code chunks. The difference is the echo. So whenever you specify echo false, it will not print the script you used within the R code chunk. Whenever you don't specify the echo, like so its echo is true, that means that will print the script in your output file. So that's the difference. So if you want to check your script, then you can print that, or if you just need the output, then you can put echo false, so then that will not print the R code for you. Okay, and then the 3 or more asterisks will introduce a page break. So I have introduced a page break here. So that's here, and then yeah, and then I'm going to the next page where I have used some bullet points to show so the members of my lab. So these are the members in my current lab. So the bullet points and an image. So that's the output of that the next page. So so these are the members, and this is a picture we took recently during a student tour at our institute. So these 3 guys are from my lab, and these 3 students who visited us. So, and then you can also print a legend for your figure that you can specify here, the legend you want to print along with your figure. So this is just a basic report, like how you prepare a basic report using R markdown. So you can apply all the markdowns, like different types of markdown, to make your document like more neat and sophisticated. But this is very basic. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very basic, but you can use, there's a whole lot of markdowns you can use to make the document like perfect and well aligned. Okay, so that's an option, and this is a great advantage when you want to produce the PDF files again and again, the same file with the same text but with different data. In that case, this method is really helpful. So you can just change the R code chunk, and then it will change the data in your report and keep everything else the same. So it's very useful when you want to reproduce the files without major changes in it. So that's why this becomes very useful. And so moving on to the how to generate academic manuscript using R markdown. So I found this method, this whole pipeline is very useful, but it may not be applicable in all situations. But if you are trying to write a manuscript for a very popular journal, or the ones which are listed in the R markdown templates, then I think this is a very efficient way of writing the academic manuscripts. So this has been done using the articles package. So first you have to install the article package in your R Studio, and then you can select the template you want to use to write your manuscript. So it depends on the journal you want to send your manuscript, and then you select the journal. When you select the template, what will happen? It will download a template which has been already prepared for you. So it has all the styles the journal require, and then it will have all the styles, and then it will have a example bibliography file, and also an R markdown where you can edit the script and put all your information there. So it's more like using the template, and then you edit according to your needs. So it is, I find it's very useful and efficient. Yes. Instead of like we start writing from the scratch, adding all the styles and different blocks. So this is much easier. Okay, so I'll just show you like one example of the manuscript, one example manuscript prepared here. So this is my header. So the section between 3 hyphens is the header. So I have like the information about my manuscript. So if we can compare that with the output, so that might be easier. So the title is the Markdown Manuscript Ladies, and then I list all the authors of my paper. And so all the authors, and then their email address and the affiliation. So that's been printed here. So since it's the template, it has been already done for you. So you just what you have to do is you just have to change the details. So that's why it's much easier. So then you add your contact details, and then the authorship. So that's been they're all printed here, and then you specify which reference file you want to call to this manuscript. So you should create bib text file which will contain. I'll show you an example of the bib text file what you have inside that. So then but you have to tell the program like which file you want to use for this particular manuscript, and then the layout of your manuscript, and then if you want to use any LaTeX packages, you can say, okay, I want to use all these packages here, and then also like other information, and then the journal name, date, and a style for this manuscript. So, and then they just printed one text there in it within the hyphen. That means that will be printed in italics, and you see here the text is printed in italics. Okay, so then the next section of my manuscript is like a normal manuscript. I have an introduction, methods, and a conclusion. Or I skipped the results. Okay, anyway, so I got a conclusion and also an acknowledgement and a references. So here we use different header, different levels of headers, and then another cool thing is here is you can add references here. So how it's been done. So here you can specify like the basic details about your reference. So this is one reference I want to insert into my manuscript. So I just specified the name of the author and the year. And then now what I'm going to do, I'm going to install this package called CITR, and then through the add-ins we can insert citations. So I go to the insert citations, and that will link to the bib text file we called in the header, and then it will search through the bib text file, and it will extract the details for that particular reference you mentioned there. So when I started typing Bartlett, then it grabbed this reference and put it here. That will be printed in the output file under the reference section. I'll show you in the output file. Okay. And then there are a few other things implemented here. I think it's easier to compare with the output file. Okay, so that's the first the introduction, and then so you see here the reference. After I have called the actual reference from the bibtext file, so that's this one. So it includes the information about the reference, and then it's been added here at the reference section. This one I didn't do anything. I didn't format that, so that's why it's not been listed here in the reference. So all the reference, first you put in a bracket and then you link that to the bibtext file you have called for this script. And then in the method section, you can always include a footnote with the square bracket and exponential sign, and then that will be printed here. And then this is an example of an equation, but this has been done using a LaTeX syntax, which I'm not really very familiar with. Yeah, but so this is the LaTeX syntax that you can use to print equations here easily. So that's been printed here, and then you can also add some inline math here. So if you want to print some equation, you can do that within the $sign. So that will print. So if you look at the $sign, that will be printed like this. So so that will be some inline maths, and then you can print the text. The two sections are just normal text. So you're printing that, and then your whatever the references you formatted will be listed here under the references section. So that is so that's like the reference, the manuscript, academic manuscript. The writing, and then I also included a few R code chunks for this manuscript. So the first one is the global option, so where you call all the libraries you need to produce your tables, figures, and all the data analysis you want to do. So that's the global option chunk, and then you also specify some style there. You want to have your output document in a particular theme, so you can specify that. And then the actual plotting. So I'm trying to plot something, so then you can give the name for that R code chunk, and then you include true, then only it will print in your output file, and then you can also give a caption for your figure. And then you just write a normal R code. So you can include any package you want to include use for producing the figures. So like we were chatting about extension of ggplot, which can Adi was telling about that, so that you can make publication the figures for publications, the good quality ones. And also I came across few different the package called cowplot, which can make the figures in a grid, so in a panel, so then you can easily embed that in your manuscript. So you can do whatever you can use all the features available in the R and produce the figures and tables, and then you can include that in your manuscript. So
sorry, Gaia, to interrupt. We do have two questions, and I think because they are relevant to this section, it makes sense to answer them now. I'm not sure if you can see the chat. If not, I can read them for you.
Yeah, I can see the chat.
So I think the latest question was for your previous slide.
Okay. So if I missed it, what if a template for the desired journal is not available? So then I think you have to make the script from the scratch. So then you have to specify all the styles there according to the journal's requirement, and then you have to do it. And maybe you can follow some of these templates and do that, but then you still have to create your own template or your own script for that. And then for the next question, about this slide, is it this one or the one before?
Yeah, that one.
This one?
No, the one after that.
After that? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the question is, what's the two windows? So these are different R code chunks I used inside my script. So this is one R code chunk. See the difference? So that's the global option. And then this is another chunk where I specify the theme of the manuscript. And then this one is the bigger one here. So that is going to produce a figure for you to use in your manuscript.
So you put the package that you're using inside your global settings.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you call all the packages you want to use inside the global options. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so and that's the output for that figures. So it will print a list of figures for you. That's very cool. That it also refers to the page number of your figure, and that's the figure. So it's a figure with a legend. So and then it will give you the list of figures that is required for most of the journals and theses and everything. So then it's all been done automatically. So that's a good thing. Okay, so. Okay, so then that's about making a manuscript using R Markdown, an academic manuscript for a journal. And then you can also do a version control for these documents. So you might have heard about Git. I haven't been using it a lot, but I heard about that and I find it really useful too. It is useful, but I haven't started using it yet though. So for version control, when you want to share your project with other people, and if for example you have like 5 people in your group and everyone has to contribute towards the report or manuscript, so you make your first draft and put it in GitHub with the version details, and then the other person gets that, make all the changes he or she has to, and then they then upload that into GitHub. So it's the next version of the manuscript, so you can keep track of all the versions of your manuscript. And so it facilitates collaboration with people. And you can also always go back and see what was the initial version. And you always have a metadata associated with that. So you know the exact changes made on those on the different versions. So that's the advantage of using version control. And for that, you can use GitHub is one of the web service available, and it's been widely used and popular among the computer for all the computer scientists. Yes. And I found this step-by-step guide, which was very useful. So I'm not going to go into detail about how to use GitHub, but I'm just giving an overview of how you can use or R Markdown, and you can directly link that to your GitHub account and then upload that straight away. So that's an advantage of using R Markdown, which allows you to control the versions. Okay, so knowing all the advantages of R Markdown now, so why? So the situations where the R Markdown becomes really useful. The first thing is reproducibility. So you can reproduce the documents as many times as you want without like making new files and then copying and pasting and doing all. So you can reproduce the files efficiently. So that's one reason we can use R Markdown, and then version control, and also like searching. So I think some of you might have come across the situation. Your supervisor wants to look at one particular thing, and then you have to scroll through the 500 pages of your Word document, and suddenly it crashes. So I think in those situations, our Markdown might be a bit more useful and help you not to get so frustrated. So I think that's a great thing about this scripting. And also the inline data analysis option available for you. So for example, you have got a figure in your document and you want to change the x-axis title, just a small change you want to make. So if it's Word, so then you have to go back to the program where you generated your figure, you change the title, and then you have to copy that, delete the previous one, and then you paste it here, and then it goes to the other end of the page, so corner of the page or somewhere. So all these things can be avoided with the R Markdown embedded analysis. So you can easily change the code, and then it will change the figure for you. So that's the advantage, and the advantage of using R Markdown. And also for the academic manuscript, the templates are available for you. So then you can use the templates to write the manuscripts for different journals. And then, but however, there was always a limitation that how familiar the members of your group or the collaborators with R Markdown. So not everyone is familiar with R Markdown. So it's a bit hard to share the documents with them. But you can always try to make your initial drafts in R Markdown, and one way is you can convince them to use R Markdown, or probably output a Word file and then give it to them, and also depends on the amount of contribution from them. So if it's going to be just a few changes they are going to make, so then you can check that and then add that into your R Markdown script. Or if it's your primary supervisor going to like correct line by line, so then it's not possible, so you have to stick with Word in that case. I think that happened to many people who started using LaTeX, and also probably R Markdown as well. But yeah, but that's one of the limitations when you are collaborating with other people. It's not possible that everyone is in the same page. So, and I've included some of the resources I found useful while I was preparing this presentation. So I think you will also find it useful, and I think I will put the slides in the GitHub, Ladies GitHub, so then you can access this information and the resources there. Okay, so I think that's all from me today, and thank you for your attention. Yeah, I can answer if you have any questions.
Thank you, Gayathri. That was great. So we have a couple of questions. I think you kind of answered some of them when you were having your last slide, but we can still go through. If you want to unmute yourself and ask Gayathri directly the question, that's fine as well. Or I can read them up to what you prefer.
I can read. I'll start reading whatever is there. So then. So don't use R, how can I collaborate with them? Yeah, so yeah, that's a limitation. So I think one way is you can produce your manuscript in doc. So you write your R Markdown and you get the output in the doc file and then send it to them. Yes, so it's a bit of a hassle. Yes, that I think everyone finds it a bit hard. Yes. And then the next question is what is your personal experience in writing manuscript in R? Does it make more efficient or easier? What are some pluses and minuses in your opinion? Okay, so my experience, yeah, like I said in the beginning, I'm still an intermediate or beginner in R Markdown. I really like to use that, but then same problem. My supervisors, like one of my supervisors, he encouraged me to use, but then like not everyone will be able to communicate through our markdown. So that's the limitation. So I've started writing one manuscript in our markdown. So hopefully I will keep it as long as possible until it goes to other people for correction. So, yeah, so I'm just an beginner or intermediate user. Yes, it makes it efficient in terms of producing figures and tables. I find it really difficult to, in a Word file, you select, you delete an image and then you copy another one, you paste it here, it doesn't sit properly on the right place. So that's always an issue, and you have to switch between windows and everything. So in that way, it is very efficient. So you can produce the figures in one click. It's done. And then if you want to make small changes in the figure also, that can be done very quickly. So that's very efficient. But then the one drawback or the time consuming part, I would say, learning the markdowns. So if you want to include some like different text or the equations and all, you have to spend a little bit time to figure out how to make them look nice. So that's something you have to work on. Yeah, so that might take some time.
Thank you. That was my question. Sorry, thanks. That was a really great answer. I just had a follow-up. I'm just imagining like thousands and thousands of lines of code. Like, do you have any tips on I guess like you do most of the data cleaning and all of the analysis and other scripts, and then at some point, I'm just remembering like my figure code is like usually really messy and long, and I'm trying to imagine that in like the whole manuscript in our markdown, and just imagining like it's super long. Do you have any tips?
So what you can do there is you can tidy up your code in a separate R script, like a normal R script. You can tidy up that, make it like concise and then precise, and yeah, make it like the way you want, and then you can put it inside your our markdown. In that way, you don't feel like, oh my god, I have a lot of things written there, because you will already have a lot of text inside. So that will look like huge. So then I think it would be good to make your codes more specific, and then you copy and paste them within your R markdown script. That might be one way. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. And then, what is the best output to share with others for them to comment on latest version? I think a Word is a better version to comment. Yeah. So it might be an option. So there, one thing is you can get the output in Word, but then converting the Word file to R markdown, I saw some packages they do, but I don't think it's perfect scenario so that you will get everything exactly as it was in the original version. You might lose something along the process of converting. So, but still, if you want to get comments, I think Word might be a better option for you. And then you can always like look at the comments, and if there are only few comments, then you can make the changes in your R markdown script. Yeah. Our collaborators to leave the comments and making permanent changes. So it's very good. No, they can make the changes and make it as a different version if they are making the changes in the R markdown script, or if they are making the changes in the output file also, they can put that as a different version. So then you will have both versions available, your version and the corrected versions. Which output format will submit to journals once you are finished? It's normally we submit PDF files. So yeah, the PDF files will be the ones. How do the tables work if you want something specific? Okay, so there are markdowns to make the tables. Like you make italic, bold, and other emphasis. So you can make tables with markdown, or if the table is coming from a data or data analysis, so then you can use the R code chunk to produce the table. So yeah.
Yeah, for example, you could use a package like Pender, right? That's kind of thing that
Yes,
you use for normal R, right? Or normal R Markdown. Yeah.
I'm not too sure about like sorry, I don't know. I don't know the exact answer for this.
So is there any .csl editor? I'm not sure what is. Can you maybe detail your question, Shayon, please?
Oh yeah, sure. Because I've been using another reference managing software, which is different from EndNote. And in that reference software, all of the references style are stored in the file class named CSL. The CSL generates the type of file telling you how the reference list should be displayed. So I found a lot of CSL files in markdown or editors. Because they are in XML file, it's very difficult to read, to understand, not like EndNote. So I'm thinking if there's any good CSL editor that you have used before to edit these kind of
Okay. I'm not too sure what exactly the process, but I can suggest what I normally do. So whenever you need a reference, there's nowadays it's always an option to download the BibTeX format. So you can download that and make a zip file, and that you can easily use in most of these programs. I think so. So
yeah, but sometimes there are tiny difference. Like if you download the file that you think the file gonna meet the scope of the journal, and then you found there's just tiny difference, you need to modify it. But then you have to modify it through Notepad++ or any plain text editor, which is quite complicated. So I'm thinking if I use something similar, if you haven't, that's why I'm gonna find it online. Any online tools that I have to.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And then I'll just go ahead with
I think there was Carmen asking about the referencing. I think you mentioned that, but
yeah.
Previous
Do
slides.
you need a separate file? Yes, you need a separate file in the same folder. So, and then you have to call that in your header, which BibTeX file you want to use for your manuscript. So you just call that in your header. Yep. And then yeah, okay. We only need a. Okay.
And I think that's
all the questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to ask anything or share maybe some
thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah, someone shared a link there. Yeah, so thanks for that. Yeah.
Oh, there's another format.
I ask another question, if possible. Gaia, have you tried putting chunks inside loops?
Inside
loops, like
loop?
No,
I didn't try that, but because it's mainly was using it for producing figures and stuff, so I didn't try that. But I don't see a problem in using loops inside the R code chunk, because it will only print the output from that R code chunk. Yes. Like, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so I think it will just produce the output coming from the R code chunk. Okay. So regardless of the script code you use inside.
Okay, so you don't think there's gonna be a global way?
No, yeah, it's just the output. Yeah.
And we have Emily and someone else putting some resources for tables. So thank you. Interesting. Yeah. I've never heard of those tables packages, I guess. But thank you for that. Maybe we can collect them and share. Yeah, I think it's going to be the chat going to be saved, so we can share that later.
Yeah.
That's anyone else having any questions, or maybe you wanted to share their experience using our Markdown, or to do a manuscript or maybe or something else. I think at the beginning we saw many people were using it for other things like Shiny apps, or I remember there was a lot of different things. So if someone wanted to share, that would be interesting. But yeah, I think what I'm really interested is that if you're using R Markdown for something else than manuscript, apparently it's quite simple to move to a manuscript, right? As soon as there is a template, it will be so that's good to know, and I guess that's something we can look at more.
Yeah, they have a template for bioinformatics journal also, so yeah, so you can use that.
Yeah, no, that's good. Anyone wanted to share something? No? Oh, there's a website that was Catherine sharing a website that was made using R Markdown. That's cool. So you can even make websites. So many things.
Yeah, so there are so many applications. Yeah.
I know there's also a dashboard thing that you can do dashboard. So that's something else. Very diverse. Anyone else wanted to show something? No? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Gayathri. That was very interesting. And so for maybe next month, as I mentioned before, we're gonna have a networking event in person. So somewhere probably in a city or maybe South Bank. We haven't really decided yet, but that would be yes, in December next month. So please join us. And yeah, I think that's all for today, unless anyone wanted to share something or an update about something. Thank you, Gayathri, and see you next month in person, hopefully.
Yes.
Thanks, Gaya. Thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye.